Generative Pretrained Transformers. Sounds fancy, right? But really, it's just a bunch of math, some clever tricks, and a ridiculous amount of data. So let's break it down. So picture this. You've got a ton of text, really a lot of text. Could be Wikipedia, Reddit, books, blogs, basically, the entire internet, right? Now we feed all of that into a machine learning model and tell it, hey, learn how humans talk. But how does it actually do that? At the heart of it is something called a transformer model. No, not like those robots that turn into cars, but a type of neural network architecture that's really good at, understanding sequences. Think about language. Every word you say is part of a sequence. It's all about context, like how I saw a bat could mean either the animal or, the thing you swing in baseball depending on the rest of the sentence. And the Transformers' secret sauce? Attention. No, not the kind of attention you, struggle with during a boring meeting, but a mechanism that lets the model focus on different words in a sentence depending on, well, the context. It's like when you're reading a book and your brain hones in on a specific word because it's super important for, understanding the next part. That's basically what attention does, but with a ton of words all at once. How does it work? Well, it all starts with, pre-training. Think of it as GPT going to school. During pre-training, the model reads a huge amount of text and tries to predict the next word in a sentence. So, if you give it, the cat sat on the... It's gonna try to guess Matt because, it's seen that phrase a million times. But if it predicts, I don't know, spaceship, well, it might need a little more studying. This process helps the model learn, grammar, facts about the world, and even some reasoning. Though, let's not give it too much credit here, huh? But here's the twist. It's unsupervised. Yeah, nobody's holding its hand and telling it the right answer every time. It just kind of stumbles around, learning from its mistakes and slowly gets better over time. Kind of like you, learning to ride a bike, except with, trillions of calculations happening in its little brain. Once it's been pre-trained, it graduates, and we fine-tune it for specific tasks. This is where GPT, really shines. You want it to write poetry? Sure. Summarize an article? No problem. Fine-tuning is kind of like GPT's internship. It takes all the general knowledge it learned in pre-training and applies it to real-world tasks. So, how does GPT actually generate stuff? Let's say you ask it, write me a story about a talking dog. The model looks at the words you gave it, and based on, all its training, it predicts what the next word should be. It picks one, then predicts the next word after that, and so on. It keeps going like this, word by word, building the sentence. But it's not guessing randomly. Remember that attention thing? Yeah, it's using that to weigh, the importance of each word you gave it and the words it's already generated to decide what comes next. So if it wrote, the talking dog, it might focus on talking and think, this dog should probably, say something next. Now, GPT isn't perfect. I mean, sometimes it'll say stuff that makes zero sense. The talking dog flew to the moon to order pizza. Cool story, but probably not what you were going for, right? That's because the model doesn't actually understand the world. It's just predicting what comes next based on patterns it's seen before. It doesn't know that dogs don't, fly or order pizza, though. That'd be kinda cool. Here's another trick GPT uses. It's generative. This means instead of just classifying things like, is this a cat or a dog? It's, creating something new. It's like GPT is remixing what it's learned from all that text, blending styles and ideas into something that looks fresh. That's why it can write essays, code, or even songs. It's like a DJ, but instead of mixing beats, it's mixing words. So, why pre-trained? Pre-training saves a ton of time. I mean, imagine teaching GPT from scratch for every new task. Nope. Instead, we just fine-tune it on the task at hand, like asking it to write emails or summarize articles. It's like giving a professional athlete some specific training after they've already mastered the basics. But here's the thing, GPT can still get a little weird. It might generate completely false information because it's not fact-checking anything. It's just pulling from the patterns it's seen, so it might tell you that Napoleon invented the internet, if that seems like a reasonable continuation in its training data. So yeah, always take its answers with a grain of salt, okay? Finally, let's talk about size. GPT models are, massive. I'm talking billions of parameters. Parameters are basically the settings the model adjusts as it learns. More parameters mean the model can capture more complex patterns and data, but it also means it needs way more computing power. That's why GPT-3 is so much better than GPT-2. It's just, huge. And GPT-4? Even bigger. And remember when people were freaking out about GPT-4? Yeah, that's because these models are so powerful that they can generate text that seems, eerily human-like. Sometimes it's hard to tell if a human or a robot wrote something. Kinda spooky, right?